going to look at the fat electrician talking about the Marines outsmarting DARPA's advanced AI. I cannot wait to watch Nick laugh at DARPA.
Cheer 100. The family from Little People Big World almost killed one of their employees with a pumpkin launcher.
Well, they're a reality TV family. Sadistic, here's my expression of shock at realizing that they almost killed one of their employees. We've got about we've got 45 minutes. So we'll be able to do this short, and then the last video with, the commentary that I'll be doing for it. It'll probably take us to the end of stream. So, but let's check out Nick's video here.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle of wits and won.
Inconceivable!
Okay, so here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battleground.
Wait. These aren't the Marines you're looking for. To improve the algorithm, DARPA spent a week with a group of Marines on a test site for 6 days. The Marines walked around with the engineers, refining the algorithm for detecting people. On the 7th day, I said, we're done, we're flipping it. Now they would try and defeat it. Okay.
Here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2023. And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in 2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an infantry unit. RoboGrunt. They wanted to make RoboGrunt. Basically, they were going to take an artificial intelligence, shove it inside of a flying drone or a little car drone or inside of a robot dog, and it was going to follow the grunts out into battle and act as an early warning system. Using cameras and sensors, it would be able to identify enemies from way further out than a human ever could. Not a terrible idea. So DARPA got to work, they built the robots, they built the AI, but then they actually had to train the AI how to identify people. And apparently the best way to do this was by just actually doing it. So they brought in 8 Marines for a week to help train this artificial intelligence. And for the first 6 days, it went great. Basically, the AI just watched the Marines walk around and do things a human would do, while the computer engineers helped teach the algorithm what it was looking at. But then on the 7th day, DARPA would make a classic tactical.
Thank God was the 7th day declared holy because it was the day the Marines outsmarted the fancy schmancy AI with childhood tactics. Oh, I can't wait to hear what kind of tactics these are.
Air by challenging the Marines. Apparently, with only 6 days of training, they wanted to see how well their artificial intelligence would stack up against the Marine Corps' 100% organic cran-fed fuckery. I'm gonna give you a hint, it didn't go well. The challenge was they were gonna set the robot up out in the open, and the Marines had to start from like 1,000 yards away, and they had to sneak up on the robot and touch it without ever being identified as a human. As soon as they said go, the first 2 Marines took off doing somersaults for the entire 1,000 yards. They made it all the way to the robot completely unidentified. And I can only assume that it is at this point that the computer engineers realized that they were going to have a bad day, because it only got more ridiculous from there. Another Marine went out in the woods, stripped all the branches off of a fir tree, dressed himself up like a tree, and then slowly, and I quote, walked like a fir tree all the way.
Walked like a fir tree? Is that like tree adjacent to walking like an Egyptian, perhaps? Oh my God. So, 2 of them somersault like kids in a, level 1 gymnastic class. The other one basically does kindergarten grades, kindergarten grade. You can't see me. Or, right, yours is better. Yours is better. I am Groot. Yep. Okay, you win. Yours is better.
To the robot. And then my personal favorite example, 2 Marines found a large box and then proceeded to do the old Metal Gear Solid trick.
They solid snaked the AI. Okay, if you're going to fuck with an AI...
Uncle Sam's misguided children would use childlike antics to win a wargame against a computer. Color me surprised. Cheer 100.
Well, okay. But of all the ways to beat an AI, going full Metal Gear and solid snaking it with a cardboard box is fucking based. Well, let's be honest, that's fucking based for them to do that.
trick where they use the Amazon Prime print camouflage to sneak all the way up to the robot and touch it. According to the author, you could actually hear them audibly giggling from inside the box the entire time. And this raises one very important question. How mad were these engineers? So I asked the author.
Well, in this case, I mean, it's a DARPA project, so it's just experimental, and they're trying to push the bounds. I don't know, I can't speak to the engineers. I mean, they might not have appreciated it. Maybe they did appreciate someone highlighting these problems. The program manager who relayed the anecdote to me was really pleased because they learned something. Right, they learned about the limitations of the system, and you'd really much rather find that out in a training environment than when you do it overseas in a war zone and the enemy does it. But
and you know what? He's not wrong about that either. When these engineers and these programmers probably saw it as a really good fucking opportunity. They, because bearing in mind, they'd only been working on this thing for 6 days. Prior to the exercise, prior to this test. And, just because someone is really intellectually smart, such as the engineers or the programmers, everybody involved, everybody big brain involved in the project, this is why you need outside consultation to look at things from a different angle, to give you better perspectives. And you know what? The Marines, we've seen with his other videos, the Marines are experts at just figuring shit out. When it comes to trying to get shit done or figure shit out, they do it. And, if you're going to be using this for an enemy, once an enemy knows what you have to work with, your tools, one of the first things that an enemy will look into is how can you defeat that tool. And so, they just doing crazy outlandish shit is how you figure it out.
$1 billion government AI failed to beat the smartest functional alcoholics to ever live. Sacro Blue.
You know what, Aaron, though? But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes the dumbest shit is the simplest and most effective solution. And that's why it's great to have outside input to get these different angles of approach on a problem. Because that's what an enemy does. When an enemy knows the tools you have to work with, they're going to try and figure out how to defeat them. That is one of the first things they will try to do once they know what you have. As soon as they go, okay, they've got this, how do we defeat it? And all this is, like, the engineers and the programmers, to them, this is all just yummy, yummy, delicious data that they can soak up and program into their AI and teach it better. So it's honestly, they probably viewed it as a complete positive. They were not looking as a contest like, oh yeah, this is, it's not like they were presenting this to buyers or they were presenting this to Congress or the heads of the military, like, look, you need to start deploying these out. This was the development stage of it. And so they only looked at this as positive, saying, okay, yeah, now we can account for this. Let's keep doing. What other crazy shit can you come up with on this? And it's all just, they were probably having like a nerdgasm, thinking, holy shit, we can program it to do all this other stuff, honestly.
It's good that they found it out early rather than before they'd invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Okay, fine. Well, if he's not going to speak for the engineers, that leaves it open to my interpretation, and I think it went something like this.
I hate them.
Nah.
In conclusion, I think the big takeaway from this story is that artificial intelligence is nowhere near ready to go toe-to-toe with the American grunt on the battlefield. Because regardless of how smart it is or how smart it gets, it's never going to be able to figure out what the grunts are doing until they're already doing it. Because the grunts don't know what they're doing until they're doing it. And you can't be 3 steps ahead of somebody that never knows where they're going. Because at the end of the day, historically speaking, the American military's only ever had one plan, and that's to show up and improvise. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Nice. That was fun. That was a funny one.
For the devil dogs in chat. Raw. Cheer 100.
That was good. That was fun. That's like, yeah, I mean, I will disagree with Nick. It's, they probably, yeah, they probably didn't take it badly. They probably were like, this is fantastic. More please. They probably wanted them to do even crazier shit, honestly.